One of the topics that's very difficult in maths is multiplication. Now we're going to try to make it easier for you. At the start of the year, your teacher was supposed to give you a timetable paper like this, where your timetables are. So we are going to use this with a multiplication and see if it helps you later on. Okay, I want you to keep this close. If you're not sure about your timetables, this is supposed to help you to practice the right timetable instead of thinking you know the answer and you might practice it wrong then. Okay, so I'm keeping this aside, and you can also keep it with you while we do the activities. Okay, to start with, we are going to do the 2 times table, but we're going to do it a different way. The writing of the answers, we are just going to do in a square like that, and then we are going to divide it into half, and in such a way that we can have 2 triangles. Okay, to get the answer, we are going to write the units of any number or any of the answers. We are going to write in the bottom triangle, and if there's tens, we are going to write it in the top triangle. Okay, now we're going to do it from left to right, or we can also start from right to left. So just follow as I write. Okay, if we start on the left, we are going to write the answer of the number that we have at the top next to the 2. So in line with each other, where those 2 numbers cross, we are going to write the answer of 1 times the 2. That's the timetable we're going to do, and that's going to be a 2. But now if you look at the answer, it's only going to have a unit. And now just to fill the gap, we always have to have 2 answers or 2 numbers in the square that we wrote there. Okay, so to fill it up without changing the value, we are going to write the 0. The next one is going to be 2 times 2. So that answer will be 4. And then to fill up the gap, to make up the tens, we are going to do a 0. Okay, the next one is 3 times 2, going to be 6. Fill up the gap, we write a 0. And I'm going to just make it a bit quicker so that you can see the way I'm writing the answers. Okay, now 2 times 5 is 10. So we're going to write the 10 here, but then the tens is going to be the at the top. Sorry, this was going to be the unit, and then this is going to be the 10. Now the 2 times 6 is going to be 12. The 2 at the bottom and the 1 at the top. 7 times 2 is 14. And then the tens at the top. The 8 times 2 is going to be 16. 6 at the bottom, 1 at the top. Now the 9 times 2 is 18. 8 at the bottom, 1 at the top. And then look at the difference with this one. 2 times 10 is 20. So the 0 at the units and the 2 at the tens. Okay, now that was easy. If we mix up the numbers, still doing the 2 times table. Okay, we are just going to follow in line again so that you can just get the practice of how we write the answer, what numbers do we use, and in what block are we going to write it. Okay, if we start on the left, there's going to be 3 times the 2, and remember the units is going to be at the bottom, and the tens will be at the top, in the top triangle. Okay, and we're going to use the 2 times table again. So it's going to be 3 times the 2, and that's going to be 6. Now we still have a triangle that's empty, so we're going to fill it up with a 0. Then 9 times 2 is going to be 18. So the 8 will be at the bottom, 1 at the top. 4 times 2 is going to be 8. There's a gap, so I fill it up with a 0. 7 times 2 is 14. Then 6 times 2 is going to be 12. 2 times 2 is going to be 4. Fill it up with a 0. Then 5 times 2 is going to be 10. So now I've got a 0 at the units, and I just do the tens at the top. Then 8 times 2 is going to be 16. And now 10 times 2 is going to be 20, so I'm going to write the 0 there and the 2 at the top, and then 1 times 2 is going to be 2, and now I've got a gap, so I fill it up with a 0. If you're confused with these numbers where to put which one, you can just write the answer there at the bottom, and then you'll see there is the 6, and then the 1 will move at the top of the triangle. Okay. If you're not sure about where to write what answer, then you can pause this and just go back to the way I explained it and the way I completed it, and try it on your own first before we go on to the next one. The next timetable that we're going to look at is the 5. You can try it on your own first. I'm just going to do it quick so that you can save time, or you can pause and try it yourself first, and then you can follow my answers. Okay, remember the tens at the top and the units at the bottom triangle. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25, 5 and a 2. 3 times 5 is going to be 15. 4 times 5 is 8 times 5 is going to be 40. 4 times 5 is going to be 20. 6 times 5 is 30. That's going to be 10. 9 times 5 is 45. 7 times 5 is 35. And then 5 times 11 is going to be 55. And now a confusing one for a lot of you. 0 times 5 is a 0, but also a 0 at the top. Okay, did you find the same answers I did? Okay, you can try the next one on your own. If you want to, you can copy this one and then try it on your own and see if you can find the right answers. Okay, and remember the tens at the top, the units at the bottom.